kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent, Commander in the corner.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
I like that Commander in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
He's just pecking away.
Yeah, look at him.
Got those little sausages for fingers.
Hunting and pecking.
How
Look
does
at he's pretending he can type when
he's got like the
when he does one
laptop.
He does two fingers all the time until just there, and then he's like making it look like he can type.
Well, he types for a living. It's almost like you think he's got it looks like the world's smallest laptop, but actually he just has the paws of a polar bear. Yeah. Wow.
I knew a guy once that had hands like that. His nickname was Ham Hands.
Ham Hands.
Herm Ham Hands Harrison.
Must have been a hockey player.
No, he was a heck of a football player for the Calgary Stampeders, Hall of Famer.
They don't call him the Peters. They call him the Stamps.
Yep, darn right.
Randy Langston first in, then Mark Kurtz, then Randy Langston rebounds with a third. It reminds me of an inappropriate joke.
And then he comes back in like he's six. Like all of a sudden he's Wilt Chamberlain pulling down rebounds.
Randy got first and third. We won't talk about the contest.
So technically, Scott Tomko ends up third on the podium because Randy can't hog
you
it
can't
all.
occupy both positions.
No.
You can't compete as a man and a woman and get first and third. Randy Langston brings us to the.
Although he just basically did the Wade and Carter equivalent of it.
He did. The Randy
he identified as first and third.
Yeah, Randy in a skirt got first. 80 degrees in Victoria under mostly cloudy skies, heading to a high today of 93. It's going to be windy again. I have to say, I just don't recall ever it being so windy all the time. It's hard on my landscaping.
Chicago, go to Chicago.
The wind pulls. Well, you need a haircut.
People keep telling me that, but then others tell me, yeah, it looks good. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's
stuck.
Now you're always clean, but so there's some humor here, sort of. But what is that look that certain guys have where their hair just always looks one click greasy? Oh, your hair's gone, Commander. But one click greasy so that big shock is it a shock?
Yeah, I guess.
Falls down upon their face.
I don't know. I don't either.
I'd like to have that. I would love to, back in the day when you were going through the different iterations of Ash hair, the hair product concession at your home.
Even just 10%.
You know how you walk into a restroom in a really nice restaurant or somewhere and there's that guy in there and he's got like 800 bottles of cologne?
Yeah, but there's always the Clubman talc in there for whatever reason.
You got to have that. And but I visualize that as being you've got paste, you've got wax, you've got gel, you've got mousse, you've got whatever it takes. And sometimes
gel.
Ever in your life has there been a time that you put one product kind of on the front and another product in the back to kind of firm up the mullet?
It's all one. Never had them.
You had a mullet.
No, I did not.
Commander, find the photo.
It was all one length.
What? So if it's all one length, Travis Tritt, you think that's not a mullet?
It's not a mullet. Mullet is
90s
business in the front, party in the back.
90s Blake Shelton.
Yes.
You don't think that was a mullet?
That was
Toby
a mullet.
Keith.
He did not have one length. Nobody remembers that cheesy song, Austin, that he sang.
It was a great song.
Terrible song.
A great song.
What if on Monday we give him a haircut on the show?
No, we're not doing that.
We'll get his guy to come in.
I have one styling I can do of haircuts.
Yeah,
that's an option.
That's why I don't want you to even go near me.
Folks, let's pick a subject and let's all have a contest to see who can shave Ash's head live on the air. That would be fantastic.
Amanda King, good morning. Judge Posey checking in. Wendy Hughes Garcia, Linda Chris, Bobby Leister, Junior Samples, Monty Howard.
Right now, as we speak, live in somewhere in a remote location in Europe.
Monty's heading to Elko.
Europe. Micah Patton, congratulations, sir, or God bless you for being named as
our condolences.
School board president. Rick Jones being vice president. Congratulations, amigo.
So is Monty Howard going to Elko, Nevada?
I don't know. Or is he in the portal and he's going to A&M to play football? We don't know.
We don't know. Stephanie Connie, good morning. Ricky King, Chris Conrad checking in. Tammy Keeling, Will Vincent. Emily Casterhone, good morning.
So European leaders meeting today to discuss peace in the Middle East or peace in Europe and what needs to happen. They formed this group about 3 years ago, right after Ukraine was first invaded by Russia. And the only people not in attendance of the people that are a part of the group were Russia and Belarus.
Belarus, yep.
But I did find it interesting. I always find it interesting that, General Zelensky, who's just in the trench with the troops, slugging it out with Russia, he was there dressed in all black, the only person in the room without a tie. So, he's got his shtick.
And he wears the military style jacket with epaulets on it.
He's a clown.
But I'll be honest, he's the only guy that can pull that look off.
Well,
if you wore that
Tom
military
Cruise
style jacket,
I'd look silly.
You'd look dumb.
I'd want stars.
But then again, you would have the gloves under your epaulets just so
Sure.
you could slap somebody with them.
Slap Macron, everybody else speaking English. Macron insists
On French.
on speaking French because he's so proud.
Just because I noticed these things, I'm just going to give a shout out to Emily Castrone because she's in at 7:02, and the last few times she's checked in, it's been like towards the end of the show. So,
And I think she's the first YouTuber that was in today.
no, Stephanie Conti.
Stephanie Conti. Oh,
Jumped the
nice.
YouTube gun.
Very nice.
But our
Very nice.
viewership is starting to grow on YouTube. So
And we
appreciate
recommend
that.
YouTube. I was visiting with Tommy Taylor the other day at Atzenhofer, and he brought up the show. He wanted to see the section where Adela called in, but the YouTube video is really good, and the audio is really good. So I'm really glad that that's working out well. And hats off to Commander Cody for making that happen for us.
Monty's heading to Elko, Nevada. I don't know why he's going to Elko, Nevada. There's
there a
nothing
casino there?
No,
Can
there's
you-
always a
Can
casino
you roll
there.
dice there?
There's always a casino there. There's Buddy Stavanoa checking in. Monica Jost.
Funk it, Trey Molina. TB's in the house. Good morning, Torin. From the
Randy says that Zelensky reminds him of Napoleon from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He kind of
kidding.
does.
No kidding. From the I told you so department, you'll recall that last week, after some of the garbage went down where the Palestinians claimed that, well, there were 59 hostages and 21 of them are alive now. 3 died last night. I told you last week, Israel's about to ratchet it up on Hamas. I don't think that was a great stretch, but just to confirm, yes, I was right. Third night in a row in the dark of night, 64 quote unquote Palestinians killed last night. Israel deciding to take it back to the streets. You had people at this European conference saying they must come up with a 2-state solution. They must quit telling the Jews what to do, man. It don't work that way.
And you're in Europe. What do you know?
Right.
You've tried to stay out of it.
Right.
Hard to have a 2-state solution when the other state wants to wipe your state off the map.
There you have it. It's kind of like us being partners with Oklahoma. I'm convinced that Israel is going to just continue to pummel them. Yeah. I don't understand. I guess that Hamas maybe correctly believes if we give up the hostages, we've got no leverage and they may, come in and kill all of us. Instead, they're going to systematically kill all of them while the hostages die. In unreported news, President Trump did bring home the last American hostage. Somebody was like 29, 27. something like that. That didn't get a lot of traction. Nobody really made a big deal about the fact that the president went over and said, I want my hostage. And they said, okay.
You know what's interesting with all this? Because you look at what we try to do in the Middle East for decades, a century or so of meddling in the Middle East. The Middle East, as I sometimes refer it as. Instead of us giving them money to try to buy their friendship, President Trump went over there and basically coerced them into investing in our companies.
Yeah.
And somehow told them, like played the Jedi mind tricks on them, that somehow.
That's Ash as Kurt Russell. Oh, yeah, I'll go to that. I'll show that picture. That's Ash as Kurt Russell and Sean Penn's love child.
He definitely had a mullet.
That's a mullet. I don't care what he says. That's when he was living with Kurt Russell.
Photoshop. Me and Fabio
Sean
were
Penn.
hanging out together, hitting the clubs.
I don't know what Photoshop is.
Yeah, no, never.
Of course you don't. He can do that for you too, folks. If you're unattractive and you want to monetize your Facebook presence, Commander Cody can make you look fantastic.
But what our president has done is gone over there and convinced these countries to spend their money on us.
$92 billion. All he did was assure the viability of Boeing. That's all he did.
And the best part is they're delivering 747s to Qatar. So Boeing doesn't even have to try to make the 787 Dreamliner that they can't really make it on time. These are planes that they know how to produce. It's a huge win for Boeing because all of a sudden their credibility's back on top.
Good morning, Mama. I will tell you, I did some reading yesterday. I don't often spend a lot of time actually preparing for the program, but I did want to tell you.
No,
I did some reading yesterday. Words on paper, New York Times stuff. And I read between the lines. It actually may make sense for Qatar to say, hey, take the airplane. And I say that by saying this plane's only got 1,600 hours on it, which is nothing. And
it's like
yet
it's like finding a barn find of a very nice older used vehicle with like 1,000 miles a year on it.
It came absolutely, but now extrapolate that vehicle is a Ferrari, and it's got to have maintenance, and it's got to have updates, and it's got to have. The thing is, even though money is not an object to the Qatar family, they have their own fleet of airplanes, including at least one more mothballed 747-8, and they've got Bombardiers and other little Boeing. They consider the more practical Boeing 737 wide body for regional travel. That's a Southwest Airlines flight for like one king to get on. But as I read through the article,
that's the green option.
It said, I can give you this plane and actually save myself money. It stays in a hangar. It doesn't just sit out on a runway. It costs $23,000 an hour when you start the engines. You hear people say, you can charter a plane. It's $3,000 an hour. This is $23,000 an hour. It's coming up on needing a 12-year service, which they say is literally tens of millions of dollars. You have to take apart the engines, inspect every
So really, we're not getting a gift at all.
No, we're getting a bucket of money. It's like getting a great, here, take my boat.
Yeah, take my horse.
By the way, I've got
please.
10 boats, and I'm going to, here, take this boat. By the way, it needs engine service, and the trailer's got rusty hubs. And so I do agree that the plane has tremendous value, but it's relative value, folks, because the plane's been on the market since 2020. You could find that aircraft
for sale.
It's been for sale for 5 years.
On jets.com?
Absolutely. On like Aircraft Trader. I mean, you really could, they would sell you that plane.
Planevana.
But it's not worth anything, really. I mean, so I think the message here that Trump is sending, now follow me. In 2018, in his first term, he commissioned $3.4 billion worth of 2 new Air Force Ones. He was disgruntled that he didn't get them by the end of his first term. And
hey, the next president won't get them before the start of their first term
he's
either.
still disgruntled. They're looking at delivering them in 2028 or 29. Part of that has to do with all the beefed up security, the beefed up electronics. You've got to find people that are not only qualified to work on the aircraft, but who also can pass the security clearance to work on the aircraft. And yes, I do think it comes without strings. I think they just want to get rid of it.
No, I think the strings is he accepted the plane and all of a sudden Qatar spends tens of billions with Boeing.
So I think Trump is sending the message to Boeing, I want my aircraft. Look, I'm going to take this one and rub your nose in it.
I'm going to give it to Chip Foose, and he's going to fix it all up
Yeah.
and get it ready to go before Boeing can get off their duffs.
Pimp my ride.
Yeah.
And in exchange for that, I'm also going to bring you $92 billion worth of orders, which absolutely floats Boeing's boat for the next decade. And that's exactly what he's doing, sending Boeing a message. But at the end of the day, the idea that somebody's worried or wants to be worried about whether Trump's being bought, that's just stupid talk.
Absolutely.
It's stupid talk. I think the people in Qatar are laughing all the way to the hangar to go get that thing out of here. It's a dinosaur. It chugs fuel. It's not green. It's also a huge target for surface to air missiles. Only the U.S. flies people around on 747s any longer. There's no reason. You would think a guy like Trump would say, just give me a G10.
Yeah, because, Emirates Air is using Airbus.
Right. BJ Nelson, BJ, if you've got a minute, give us a call, 894-4020. Would like to talk to you. You do have a new day. It's a new day at VISD. You've got Micah Patton named president of the school board, Rick Jones second, BJ Nelson telling them both what to do. No doubt about it. So she's the puppeteer, and we've got those folks in the background. I like that. Hats off to Micah. I heard yesterday, just for whatever it's worth, I heard that Mike Mercer literally received death threats in his mailbox at his home.
Really?
Over the school board. Now, I don't care what your politics are. You mess with Mike, you're messing with us. We like Mike.
That's absolutely
insane.
Absolutely insane.
Turn that up a little bit over there and
that one there.
Ms. Nelson, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I do as I'm told, so I called right away.
You're a tireless servant. Yes, ma'am. We know. Tell us what's going on. There you go. Torn Bells to sum up to 747. It's not like he got a diamond for no reason or sold overpriced, ugly art. That would be our man Hunter Biden. Tell us about the proceedings last night. I think it was Micah Patton and Margaret Pruitt, maybe, and Patton wins 4-3, and then it was Rick Jones and Margaret Pruitt, and Rick Jones wins 4-3. Is that correct?
You're correct.
Now, what's interesting about that to me, and even though I can't tell you for no really good reason, look at here, moment of truth by Carter, gavelled in with the official gavel of the Texas House. I can't tell you why I felt like I was willing to take what was behind door number 2 over Ms. Pruitt. That may be unfair and insensitive at least, but I'll tell you that I do find it odd, somewhat sad, because everybody on that board is serving and they're all doing their best. She goes from being essentially president pro tem to quote unquote just another board member in a matter of 2 votes. And at least for putting her hat into the ring, I want to applaud Ms. Pruitt. And I'm, I'm a little, it's going to take a while.
Ms. Pruitt has a wealth of knowledge of school board procedures and everything. So she was already stepping in and being very helpful to Mr. Patton. So, I give her all accolades because she's very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, she's the Robert's Rules queen. I
hear. And here's what I encourage the school board to do. don't allow Robert's rules to get in the way of getting something done. This is not the Texas House where we have to go, I'm going to stonewall this and I'm going to, filibuster that. Let's just get it done. Now, I've seen people be chastised and seated and directed out, of school board meetings over violating the certain rules. But I think at a school board meeting, and I know you do this, you want to educate people. Now, I'm sorry, you can't talk about individuals at this meeting. You have to talk about situations and those kinds of things. But I encourage y'all, as it is a new day, to just encourage each other and move forward with positivity. Because I'm feeling really good about our leadership at this moment.
Oh, and you should be. You should be. It starts at the top. We hired a rock star. As you know, you've met her.
Yes,
you've
ma'am.
visited with her. And the community is rallying around her. Everywhere I go, people say, boy, she's really doing a great job. And she just exemplifies leadership. She's doing a lot of things with admin. She's doing a lot of things with the principals to right the ship. So the main thing we need from the community is just support for her, support for, our new school board president. It was interesting. I did see a guy from the paper there last night, but there was no TV coverage, which I thought was very odd. And I don't understand
essentially
why.
There was no coverage. If there was somebody there from the paper,
yeah,
Read about it next
You'll
Tuesday.
read about it next week. So yeah, that's not a.
Well, they'll probably do an online something because they put online
Oh,
stories.
they have a
on things.
website.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
They
I
do.
did
But
not know
it was
that.
a good night. The other thing, working on bond oversight committee, we voted in a lot of people to be on that. And probably I think it's up in about a day and a half. You can always go back and watch it. If you need to, put yourself to sleep or something, you'll catch a few things before you nod off.
When's the next bond going to drop and how much is it?
We know it's coming.
That's why we have a bond oversight committee. That's all to be determined. But the leadership that's being put in place is just outstanding, and the right sizing. And I know that she said that when she was there, Ms. Clausa, the right sizing. So it's definitely everything is moving in the right direction, and we appreciate the support from the community and for her going on and promoting it on your show, and it's a great day.
Well, I gave her major kudos for she and Ashley Alvarez for reaching out.
She's
it's
amazing.
one thing for us to
Ashley,
beg people to come on the program, as we often have at VISD, going back to Bonewald, going back to Dr. J, but it's encouraging that she said, can I come by? There's some things going on that I want to share. And she came in before the announcement to say, hey, look, I want you to be prepared. We got a D. Here's what it means. Here's what we're doing about it. I was like, hats off to you, ma'am.
Yeah, she got ahead of the state.
Hats off
Exactly.
to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's another part that she's added to, and it's on the website, to our board meeting is it's a kind of a little magazine for accolades for what our students are doing. And it's not just in the classroom, it's what they're doing outside of the classroom. And it's a whole section that we've never had before that just promotes our students and what the things that they're doing. So, if you can always go on our website and look at that, and we kind of highlight some of the things there, kids staying after school for tutoring, to better themselves. And that's a whole family project, as we were talking about last night, because the parents have to be involved to, pick kids up late. You're well aware of that, Brent, picking kids up at this event or that event. So.
Only chance our district has is it's almost like you talk about revival. We grew up in a faith that has revivals. We need a resurgence of parental involvement with our students in their schools. I can remember my mother was tireless. I can remember sitting at the dinner table, and I had to go over my flashcards in the third grade to learn my multiplication. Nobody does that anymore. Don't lie to me. Nobody does it, right? You've got to sit down and say 6 times 6 is until you just know that it's 36. Yeah. My kids ask me, how did you do that? I go, I didn't do it. I memorized it.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
there's
just
no
is.
website or app for that. You just
Yeah.
have to know
Well, do
it.
you go 6 plus 6 plus, do you go 6 and 6 is 12? 2 of those is 24 and adds. I go, no, 6 times 6 is 36. That's what it is. I don't know. I don't do long. I mean, there is no long math process to do that. You either know it or you don't. You can sit there and add them all up until you prove it to yourself, but somebody's got to sit there and show you the flashcard.
And they used to make us do that too, right? They would actually show it to you, but memorize it, and then they would tell you why you memorized it, because it's a whole lot quicker.
Of math, the Antichrist of math, the 666. Anyway, Ms. Nelson,
appreciate the call.
Thank you
PJ.
so much.
And we got to get to break.
Good time for us to take a break and tell you about White Trash Services. If you want to have a trash-tastic day, just call BJ Nelson. We just got off the phone with her. She's awesome. Give her a call. They'll come out. They'll drop off a dumpster at your home. They'll come back and pick it up Monday or Tuesday. Probably doing that for around $450, $500, and you can get rid of everything in your garage. Just do Doge. Throw it all away, and then go out there over the next month and get what you need, and pretty soon you'll have a clean garage, because a lot of that stuff you don't need. I've got stuff in my garage just in case. I've become my father. You know, like an 18-inch piece of 2x4. Never know when you're going to need a piece of 2x4.
I've been to your house. You don't need an 18-inch piece of 2x4.
No, I don't need it. Call White Trash Services, 550-1826. We mentioned ads and offer. Now, adsandoffer.com. Go check out. I went by the other day. There's a black Z06.
That's
2025 Corvette.
In on the layman's terms.
But this thing is ridiculous. This is a true world-class sports car. This is a Ferrari beater. And go look at that car. It has a convertible hardtop that you can literally push a button and it would go down at a stoplight. It takes about 15 seconds. The back goes up, the top folds underneath, and all of a sudden you feel 45 again, you middle-aged men. Go get it, get a big old gold medallion and just sport around in your Corvette. Brand Us. We mentioned Commander Cody. Find him on Facebook. Brand Us. Pretty simple. Spell it. Brand Us. That's what he does. He brands us. Go check it out. Yes, I've got a cute little Longhorn right on my right hip. Went Services, Went Electrical, for all your generator needs. It's storm season. Call Went. I don't know what else to tell you. I know I tell you that every day. You're going to hate it, although this year is not going to be much of a storm season, but that's okay. You just still need a generator. Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Reach out to Bobby Leon and his family as they help you furnish your life. You'll find out why you just always do better at Chesnick.
Always.
For over 100 years. This weekend at the chopping block. What do you got, Ash?
Well, $10 New York strips right now. For the weekend, they've got a bunch of new boudin flavors, chili pekin and cheese. Their chili pekin boudin is good. I'm going to have to go try this one.
Not super hot.
No. Well, boudin's got a little kick to it. Anyway, if they still have any of the shrimp and crawfish boudin, get in there and I've still got one link I'm going to throw on the grill. It's so good. But yeah, and I mean, and the other thing is with the $10 New York strips, they freeze well.
Yeah. If
you have a vacuum sealer at home, suck them up, throw them in the freezer for a little bit, and you'll have them when you want them. So you
got Darren Valechik checking in. He says on the math numbers, it is what it is. And of course, he's an engineer. And he says, so using my fingers doesn't count. Do you remember when the big deal was? And I never did it because it was at the very beginning of when you had to buy stuff on television. Do you remember the phrase or the word Chisenbop?
No, I don't remember that.
Many of these folks will remember.
That was probably banned from Canada by the CRTC.
Chisenbop was a deal where they would show you a kid and they would go, can't do it. I can't figure it out on there. They go like, what's 895 times 246? And the kid would go, 1.6257 million. And they'd go, that's exactly right. There was an older guy there with a calculator. That's exactly right. And the kid was going with his fingers. It was a finger math. Somebody knows. Somebody will know for sure. Yeah, it was on there.
Kelly Frommy says I have the exact flashcard memory with her mom, except tears were involved.
Me too, Kelly. Oh, and my dad would be, think about it, because my dad was patient to a point. You know, when you've got, for those of us that have multiple kids, really, if you're honest, You've got that one kid that pretty much excels at school.
Firstborn.
And you're really hard on that kid, which is really, this is counterintuitive, and it's why we have failure in our schools. You're really hard on that kid. Like, you just sit there and you go, 8 times 8, come on. What is it, 62? No, it's 64. And the kid cries, right?
Well, because you usually follow that with dumbass.
But then you've got the other
like
one.
Red on that 70s show.
You've got the other child, and you're like, what's 2 times 2? Yellow. Okay, well, that's okay. Let's try again. Red.
That's the last born.
Yeah, you're like, come on. What's 2 times 3? Brown. And you're like, okay, well, at least you're trying. And the mom's going, don't be hard on him. It's the dumb ones that get all the coddling, right? And the smart ones that just get hammered.
And the middle ones, they just slide right on
the middle
through.
one's just in the bathroom smoking a joint. But you can't figure out how to educate them.
A couple of things. I mean, there's a question here. What does Qatar get since
Qatar
Boeing
gets
got
rid
the
of
orders?
a boat anchor?
Well,
they got rid of a boat anchor.
But you know what Qatar got? Qatar got assurances that we won't bomb the crap out of them because we've blamed Yemen for the Houthis.
Yeah, Qatar's been funding them.
Qatar's been in the middle of that. Qatar is good buddies with Iran. We basically said, do this or your life will become hell. We will put pressure on you because of what you're doing with the Houthis, because you're so close to Iran. We will make sure that your oil will never get to market.
Yeah.
And
now buy this $92 billion and give us the plane.
Your fleet of jets will be grounded because you won't be able to fly them anymore.
And we won't send you parts that aren't made anywhere but in Everett, Washington. Randy Gutenberger adds, one of your listeners came to our Managing Your Crazy seminar, and they had gotten a book from us. So there you go. We have spread the gospel. There you go. Tammy Keeling just keeps asking stupid questions. I just can't. So I just won't.
Randy had two deals this week, and I think he's back today with some stuff. But
so Junior said on Chisholm Bop that your left thumb was 50 and your left fingers were 10s and your right thumb was 5 and your other fingers were 1s, and that's how you do the Chisholm Bop. I mean, I'm not surprised. Junior probably taught Chisholm Bop in junior high. You know? Yeah, absolutely. Cutter. So that is its key point, Torrin, and I'm not being flippant about your immense wealth, but I will say Cutter giving Trump a plane that he disclosed is like you giving him a piece of gum. People are fixated on their perceived value of the quote unquote gift, which Trump received on behalf of the DOD. At the end of the day, it's nothing to them. It's been sitting in a hangar for 5 years for sale. And they're like, you need a plane? What? Boeing's not getting your plane? Okay, we'll just give you that one.
I hope that jet fuel in the tank hasn't gotten bad.
Well, not to mention, I guarantee you Donald Trump isn't going to be on it when it flies back to the U.S. It really not. And it's not like he got Biden got the diamond. Hunter got
$50,000 a painting for a guy that never painted anything in his life.
And he got the board promotion when he had no knowledge of the energy business.
It was really funny how Hunter Biden's paintings sales dried up the minute Dad had to drop out of was forced out of the presidential race.
Absolutely.
Then I remember he was complaining that he had no income because his paintings weren't selling anymore.
Absolutely.
Idiot.
He is an idiot. True idiot. Everybody wants to treat him like he's a college sophomore. All that Hunter, he's doing a little crack. The dude was 55 years old. He's an embarrassment to his entire family. And that's hard to embarrass that family.
It is hard to embarrass that entire family. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signing a bill that made Florida the second state to ban fluoride from its drinking water systems. I remember when this was all the rage in the 80s.
Is fluoride bad for you?
I think in the amounts that they're saying that you get it, yes. I think there was some benefit.
Would you rather have that problem or have bad teeth? And does fluoride in your water really help your teeth?
I don't know that it does, to be honest. And that's where the studies are starting to show. I think there were a bunch of studies back in the day, probably funded by the large institutional fluoride system providers that convince cities, hey, you need to put fluoride in your water because it'll help your kids' teeth. So back in and that was probably true back in the 70s and early 80s when not everybody,
or when toothpaste didn't have fluoride.
Yeah.
Well,
people
didn't go to the dentist.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, just your gut feeling on something. We have not talked about this, and Andy Rogers.
I do, Andy. I don't want the microplastics. I'll take the lead out of the pipes before I'll take the microplastics out of a bottle.
Really? Here.
I don't need that. I
scared the dog.
I know. Broke my. Now I got boxers. Now I got the boxers fracture.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Boxers fracture is, there you go. That just shows you somebody who might hit someone.
No, I boxed. That's how I know of that one.
So do you think, knowing what you know about folks like Bill Gates, who's long been an advocate for, we've got too many people on the planet. Some of these people need to go. And whether that's true or not, do you think that it's plausible that there could be something knowingly, they know that there's complications, or they know there's like microplastics, that they just kind of let it go because at the end of the day, in the long run, it might kind of help the planet? Do you think there are situations where I'm not saying the government, I'm saying just society, there's a chance but it won't kill anybody before they're 78 and they've had a good life anyway.
Well, so I don't know how plastic bottles help the environment when all they do is end up in the South China Sea.
Yeah.
I've never quite understood that one, how that's more eco-friendly than turning on the tap.
So okay, it's Friday. I'm a little acerbic today, but I'm in a good mood. But I want to tell you folks what we deal with. So I'm going to front out Tammy Keeling, who's an intelligent listener. She's
just trying to stir the pot.
That's all she does. And so the point is, if you ever want to do that, Tammy, just call us. Put yourself out there. Lord knows you've made some really huge public gaffes. So go ahead and reach out to us. She says on here, we talked about Hunter Biden. Nobody wants to buy his paintings. That's just haha. We're just musing here. And she says, so if family deals dry up when your daddy isn't president, that tracks with current president's family too? I don't know. I hope so. Do I care? No. I don't care.
But did it? I'll go the other way.
Are you going to go?
Trump's businesses.
It's like, Ash.
He had government deals with Trump hotels before he was president. Right? Yes. When he became president, his daughter's company got boycotted by the left. Hunter Biden had no businesses. He became a board member of Burisma, and Chinese companies that he flew on Air Force Two to China to go become members of their board. He was a crackhead, whore-loving, maybe illegal gun owning.
He sounds like a
felon.
Lot of fun. I mean, I'm just saying. I knew some of those guys in college, and some of them straightened up and did really well. Scott Tongo says, how about an Astros Rangers update? Anyone? Bueller?
Andy Rokovich points out that Trump's net worth is down from 2015.
No doubt.
At a time when the stock market's been going through the roof. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. No.
Rangers beat Astros last night in a pitching gem. Hunter Brown gives you 8 innings and gave up 1 run. Yeah. Some little fat guy hit a home run. I don't know who the guy was. And Jake DeGrom just did what Jake DeGrom does. I mean, he's a star. He has a complete game shutout.
And Adolis Garcia made a heck of a catch in right field.
DeGrom is 4-1 with a 2.29 ERA. Hunter Brown's ERA went down last night in a loss. He's now 6-2 with a 1.43 Scott Tomko-esque ERA.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm telling you right now, he's a front runner for the Cy Young.
Yeah. Hunter goes 8 innings, gives you 9 strikeouts,
and gives up
no
3
walks.
hits, no walks, but the run was an earned run.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that hit the home run?
Burger.
Jay Burger. shortest first baseman in Major League
Jake
Baseball.
Berger,
Jake.
6 feet. Yeah, he's not a huge.
He's not a huge
No.
guy. Born in 1996.
Kind of built like John Stingleton.
He's my daughter Kendall's age. Wow. From St. Louis, Missouri. One of the few native born Americans in baseball. Speaking of that, the Supreme Court to entertain, I think today, the concept.
I think they were talking about stuff yesterday, but it got into I don't want to say a sidetrack, but they got into the nationwide injunctions, which I learned yesterday after listening to some of the testimony in the Supreme Court yesterday. Actually, it was kind of riveting. It was pretty interesting stuff.
Riveting, Cody.
What's been happening is they've gone to district judges, and district judges have issued nationwide injunctions on things that have been challenged, lawsuits brought into their court, which I found out through his testimony yesterday wasn't the case for the first 200 years in this country's history. It wasn't until about 1963. If a district judge ruled on something, it applied to that district only. Now you have district judges, and 3 of them in this case, I think Washington State, I don't remember the other 2 states, issued nationwide injunctions on Donald Trump's birthright citizenship
so
order.
you're saying now the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals or whatever the Fifth Circuit, whatever that judge is, he can issue a verdict, if you will, and it applies nationally?
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
district
That
judge.
gives that guy way too much power.
And
That's why
what-
he's a district judge.
Well, and what's interesting is this isn't a partisan issue. Both sides have had issues with this because executive orders and these rulings are limiting the executive from being able to do what the executive can do, as this is their argument, as prescribed by the Constitution.
Yes.
But it was very interesting that until 1963,
It just applied to your district.
exactly.
So
your
district judges ran their district.
not even the circuit,
Wow.
because the circuits would usually anyway. But
Well-
then it would go to the circuit, then up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court would weigh in on it. But until then, if you were a district judge in Maryland, that ruling applied to Maryland only.
Here's one for you. How many of you, be honest, you don't have to admit it here, just be honest with yourself. How many of you believe or have believed that the concept of birthright citizenship is somehow construed or misconstrued via wording in the United States Constitution? How many of you think that the founding fathers took the position that if you were born here, you're an American? Because I've got news for you. I was today old before I knew that birthright citizenship has absolutely nothing to do with folks from Mexico, Honduras, people who come here on vacation and have a baby, people who sneak over the border, have a baby, and then go back. Nothing to do with that. The Emancipation Proclamation, 1865, freeing the slaves. 1866, Congress took up the charge to say that anybody who was born here, specifically targeting the children of American slaves, is granted citizenship. The amendment, is it an amendment? It's an amendment, is designed around the problem of, we've got all these Africans, what do we do with them? No. They were born here. Most of them were multi-generational, right? They weren't importing slaves in 1863. So these were the children of children of children who'd been here since some of them since the 1700s. Those people were granted citizenship. And that's what the 14th Amendment was about. And people have used it and misconstrued it and manipulated it. And Donald Trump yesterday challenged the Supreme Court, do what's right. And Randy Langston knew it. And he is a smarter guy than me. I follow Randy all the time. Says that was for the slave era. He can't spell era, but that's okay. I'm with him. Although it could be viewed as a pun, ERA, ERRA, could be viewed as the errant activity it was.
Monty Howard says the 14th was targeted at reconstruction issues, not immigration. I don't think they even remotely imagined the anchor baby thing coming. And,
By the way,
it doesn't.
Monty Howard, I figured him out. What he does, he has his grok attached to his Facebook account. So immediately he can use AI to come off as more intelligent than he is.
Monty is very intelligent.
I know, but I think that's an AI constructed comment.
I think Monty Howard might be AI constructed.
Ooh.
Well, he's not really a person.
No, he is.
You've met him.
I have.
Have you had a drink with him?
I have.
That was a redundant question.
And a
wasn't it,
and a
Cody?
cigar.
I
And
mean,
a cigar.
Yeah, there you have it. Was Monica Lewinsky in the room?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Error. It was the slave.
Torrin, and you would think we set Torrin up for this. I wonder how many babies were born in the USA.
I've
for
got
20
this for
million?
you. I have this number for you. Did you know that the number of babies born to illegal immigrants in this country last year is estimated at 300,000? Now, those are people that their parents are here illegally. Maybe some of them are on an ICE deportation list, and their kids at the moment are American citizens. And the left just clings to that because they believe that all these illegals will vote left when they are granted, what do you call it? Amnesty.
Yeah.
And which is not going to happen. And you find yourself going, for whatever it's worth, that's, Cody, 8% of the rough number of the births in this country are to illegal immigrants.
Should we get you a golf club so you can just tee it up when
yeah,
that comes?
Torrin's there. We send Torrin what we do is we send him the agenda, and then he's very good too.
Yeah.
He redirects us. I wish my name was Jing Dong. Jing Dong 47, also
You'd
a
have to be a
Rancho
female at that point.
Cucamonga.
Yeah. Michael Liu,
That just makes you feel
Also-
good. Say Cucamonga.
Cucamonga.
Makes you feel good.
It reminds me of something off
Kuna Matata.
Looney Tunes. Or
I'm
something.
from Rancho Cucamonga.
So 1 count of conspiracy, 10 counts of international money laundering. They were found guilty last fall of this stuff.
But they're two that's a brother man. 2 San Bernardino County residents. That's what they're called.
Which I bet. I wonder if they were Americans or if they were just here on a visa of some sort.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Residents.
But
that guy's name is Michael Wei Yu Lee, 59.
and his wife Jing Dong.
Jing Dong.
Um,
Avon Colbing. Racial humor. You can do it only with the Asians.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Asians.
They got 41 months in prison. I don't think it's enough. Personally, they faced up to 20 years in a federal prison for each money laundering charge.
They face 20 years. They get 6 weeks.
Yeah, they get 41 months,
Come
and that was
on.
it at the hearing in December. But anyway, they were found guilty of running a birth tourism scheme for decades. They're estimating about 12 people a month
get pregnant, come over here on a trip and drop their kid.
Yeah. They were being paid tens of thousands of dollars per trip, most of these people from China, to come over here. They would coach them on landing in states, areas that were did not really scrutinize
Places
the
other than
visas.
Texas.
Hawaii. When they got there, they would outfit these women in loose-fitting clothing, or before they would get there, so they could
They
hide
don't
their
give them a
pregnancy.
full cavity search
No,
like on
they didn't.
1923.
No.
A
Wow.
good cavity search is nice.
So they would get into this country. They would stay for a couple of weeks. They would drop their kid here. They would get all the papers. They'd go back home to China. But at some point, that kid is now a citizen of the U.S., and they would be able to come back here at some point. This is what they were doing. They raked in millions. $10,000 a person minimum. and doing it several dozen a month. And they did this for 20 years.
Well, if you think about it, that's one way that a country like China, who is a long game country, you could see that's how they could infiltrate you with Chinese spies and all kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
You could take that. It says typically within months, the mothers would go back to China along with the babies. Well, the whole time they're there, they're getting indoctrinated by the CCP. And then they come over here as American citizens to go to school. They're an American citizen, got a passport. So they go to school, and the next thing you know, they work in our government, but they're still commies.
I'm wondering if Jing Dong and Michael Lee are actually spies planted here by the Chinese government. The Chinese government started to set this thing up.
You told me to be quiet.
No, that was just for that moment. You were inappropriate.
But
Let's do this. Let's take a break.
Yesterday at court, my point is they were trying to, somebody in the Supreme Court yesterday was trying to say that this didn't exist.
Oh,
The birthright tourism industry.
they're lying.
They are lying. Yeah. Let's take our break. Dollar Floor Store. Get in today. Get all your flooring needs. You could have a new floor by Monday if you got in there today. And if you're a handy person and can do it yourself. And you'll do it at rock bottom prices.
Well, and on top of that, they're nice folks, right?
Yeah.
So you go in and you say, I want to do this in a bathroom. I want to be able to mop it. I don't want it to fade. I don't want,
I don't want to have to vacuum my bathroom.
And it's going to get some stuff on it, toilet cleaner and all. I don't want something that's different tiles, different vinyls, have different applications. You can talk to them and they will help you. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Meet us next Thursday, the 22nd. The brother man will be there. You got to give him a microphone because he's part of the program. The brother man will be there, and he's always there. Comes by, it's just a blessing to have him stop by and say hi to everybody. He would never do anything like gambling, but he does come by and say hi. USA Concrete Coatings, you want to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, call Linda Christ. At least when you get there, she'll have you a sandwich. You call Junior, he's going to put you in the flower beds and make you work. Go by and see what USA Concrete Coatings did to his concrete floor. It's beautiful.
That's nice.
Veracruz Restaurant. Today's Friday. We call it Chicken Fried Friday. They serve chicken fried steak every day, but it's fantastic.
Well, they only started doing it on Fridays, and then they expanded it. They had no choice.
You know why? Because we made it so popular that it went crazy.
They sell out on Fridays.
It went crazy on you, like Hart says. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Let Allen's help you get from here to there without a care. I just did that.
You just did that.
Yes. That's good, isn't
Saw them at the scene of a wreck
I'm like
yesterday.
I'm like the Barry Manilow of commercials. Woo. Anyway, Allen simply is the best of
More
the
like
best.
Burt Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach. He wrote all those songs for
Barry Manilow.
For King. What was her name? Carole King.
Carole King.
She had that one album called, if you only had one album, brother man, one album, having the album Tapestries by Carole King.
Remember that?
It's got You've Got a Friend.
Yeah.
I Feel the Earth Move Under My Feet. I mean, It's
Exactly.
all these songs that Mr. Bacharach wrote.
Good stuff.
Oh, good stuff.
No,
Classic,
Not
instant.
really good stuff.
I don't love her. She's probably from Canada. We talked about First State Bank of Louise, the friendliest little bank anywhere. You can get in. They're small enough to know your name and big enough to get it done. Paravita Wellness, beat Lisa Poole. You see beat Bobby Flay. That's when you want to cook. Beat Lisa Poole when you want to eat. Get over to Paravita Wellness and Vita Cafe.
Open
Vita
every
Cafe
morning.
is open for breakfast now. And I've heard rave reviews that people love it. So, brother man, earlier we were talking about, do you remember in the 70s, I think it was apparently like a Japanese deal. It was called Chisenbop. They talked about doing complex math problems. Junior
Oh,
said-
yeah, I heard of that.
He
yes.
said this was like
Yeah.
50. These were 10s.
Yeah.
This was 5. These were 1s.
Yep.
And the kids
Saw
did, the kids did that. And the next thing you knew, they would go 243. They had the right answer.
But you're memorizing what your thumbs and fingers are. It's no different than just memorizing the multiplication table.
Except that if it was a really big
Wow,
number,
yeah,
apparently
then-
the size of the number didn't confuse
Didn't
the
confuse
kid.
him.
Yeah.
I figured that back in the day, you and Judge Posey shared
Yeah.
an abacus.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
We couldn't do that stuff in a million years.
No.
Judge might, but I sure can't.
The reason that the brother man taught history, it was
Yeah.
finite. You had the
Yeah.
answers, right? Brother man would say,
Right.
they would go, Gary, what's 1,246 times 33. And he goes, that's a really big number.
That's a big number.
Big number.
I don't know what the number is, but I can tell you what the juice is on that. 10% of the house.
I love that.
10% of the
You
house.
crack me up.
Oh.
man.
If
so
everybody knew what we know.
Oh my God.
John Paul Hall says, use your hands for math. That made me crazy watching my sister.
Well, what if you're Edward Scissorhands? When you're just like cutting up the furniture.
When they did that, we pat him on the back. Good job, son.
Right.
Good job.
And then when Gary would ask a kid, what's 247 times 33? And the kid would go, 7,526. And Gary would go, that's
right.
good. That's good.
You came up with
It's like
something.
it was close enough. You're eligible. Go play basketball. Yeah. Right.
Go ahead. Give him a hug and get him out there. Right.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
do that? Y'all do that? I
That's-
love it. Oh, I just left the judge right now. Judge Zeller, coffee with the judge, and
Right.
Jeannie over here at Bloom and Flower.
We're going to
So
stop by there when we leave.
Yeah, stop by there. I just did that beforehand because I've got to get over to the other place, but I got them both, and they're over there. I do have a few events I want to mention and a little bit of sports. Okay.
So
All
just to
right.
be clear,
Yes,
you
sir.
had a place to be and you have a place to be,
Mhm.
and we're just kind of in the middle.
They're
That's
taking care of
correct.
business, man.
Is that what you gathered from that?
That's what
Cody?
I'm
Like,
gathering.
Hey, I'm driving by. I might
Wait,
as well
wait,
stop.
He stopped.
Wait, did I miss it? Or
No,
am I
you
here?
never miss it.
That's
And
right.
by the way, you couldn't be any sharper.
Thank you, sir.
You are you are
If he
without
was,
a
he'd
doubt.
cut us.
You're the best dressed man in Victoria,
Thank you,
day
sir.
in, day out.
You know what Marvin O'Neill said about me? He said, "This is your uniform."
Right.
And somebody said he always dressed up. That's his uniform. He said, "You know,
Somewhere in heaven, Melvin Dusick is saying, what can we help you? What can we help you?
I
And
love
you'd
you.
hear salespeople in Melvin's go, with, damn it, Melvin,
And then
with.
he'd be with you for a little while, then he'd drift off.
Yeah, he would just, oh, we're going to get you a
He
purdy
drifted off.
shirt. We're
He
going to
drifted-
get you a
Yeah, and
purdy
then you
shirt.
never saw the price of anything.
No, because they just put it on your ticket.
and you
And
never
then
saw
send
the
you a
ticket.
bill at the end of the month.
You saw it.
That's
The
how
bill
they did
came
it.
in.
That is how they did it. You would walk up and they would, and I mean, I should have known because I was 17 years old and
Oh,
had
my
an
God.
account.
Yeah.
And you would walk up and they would go, you need that? Is that all you need today? Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it. They just
Yeah.
put it in that little green
Yeah.
Melvin's bag.
Yeah,
You're
that
so
bag.
proud to walk
And you
out.
never-
So proud.
I shop at Melvin's, man.
Then your dad would get that and go, what is this? What is Ciro? What is Norton? What was the other, begin with an N, was the other shirt brand? Somebody help me. They were good shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Gitman Brothers,
Yeah.
of course, came along later, but Gitman made them for other people. Ciro was a great shirt.
Then you put your initials on your. That went out, but we used to do that. Oh, man, we're
yeah.
bad. GTM on mine.
You were really, really cocky if you put on your cuff,
cuff.
but you put it on there the same color as the shirt.
And right.
So like it'd be white.
We were doing this around the pocket.
Oh yeah.
So
And-
is
and
T
this.
is the T for thunder?
No. Thomas, there's a lot of Toms in our family.
Gary Thunder Moses.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
okay. I like that one too.
No.
Gary Tablet.
Go ahead.
Moses.
We interrupted.
All right, no.
we reminisced. So
And I love reminiscing. That's
You
story of life.
reminisced. I
you just stood there quietly.
I missed the Melvins.
Our ratings
experience.
Yeah,
went-
you missed that,
Hey.
but you'd have loved it, Ash. You would have loved it.
He just stood there quietly as our ratings soared.
I
Tell
love
me
you
tell
too.
me what's going on.
All right, you had your big boy call in yesterday, Disabled American Veterans Barbecue today, the chicken barbecue.
Yes, from
DFW.
11 to
11,
1 on
right.
Lova Drive. Get over there.
Yeah.
$12 a plate. They're going to have chicken in the fixings.
Brad Miner does good chicken.
Brad
Brad
Miner
Miner.
can cook.
And that's a big
And
boy, but he
and
can cook.
potatoes.
Yes, that's good stuff.
It seems apparent he can also eat. Yes.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Wild About Wine tonight, the Texas Zoo, too. That's a great fundraiser for the zoo. We love animals. Ash, you and I, all three of us, and you too, Cody. So we'll do
Thank
that.
God I can't rescue zoo animals.
We can't do any more. No. But we give. We take care of them 7 to 11 tonight. Parade of Homes this weekend. Take your mom out or your wife or
Where do
whatever.
you get tickets for the Parade of Homes?
Any house. You start at any house, they have the tickets there.
There you go. You
The
show
one in
up.
Quail Creek is the showcase house.
Okay.
And then take off from there and get a few of them. I would.
It'd be great. I mean,
Go out to the car. I got you some, okay?
okay.
I'll give
But,
you
you know, it would be great to be able just to drive.
How about that?
What a great cheap date. Just drive from house to house and look at the homes.
You
And,
get your Starbucks, put it in the car, and drive
Amen.
from house to house. We know how to do
and
that.
absolutely.
All right. Then Friends of the Library book sale. Want to mention that. 2 more days of that. Great educational tool over there. They got some super books. And want to mention that. And of course, the end of school tour I'm on right now, which is really good. Dudley, Roland, Patty Welder. I'm
That's
going to Dow
awesome.
Seadrift, do their projects research graduation.
You just gave out a
Florida
bunch of
School.
awards at Yorktown, didn't you?
Yes, all kind of stuff. Ash, I've been all over the place and loving it.
That's
all right,
awesome.
boys. And
Well,
thank you, Lord, that we can all do those.
so
good things.
Ash and I went through the schedule yesterday
And I got
very
the number.
rapidly.
I got the 2 numbers for you.
The Cowboys, we have them going 7-9.
All right, here you go.
Right, Ash?
8, 9,
8,
8, 9, maybe 9 and 8 at best.
Okay, 17 games.
But not 12-5.
Here
And we didn't
is-
go through the Texans
Vegas
yet.
just came up with it right after they put the schedule out. Over under Dallas. You can't believe this. 7.5. That's all it was.
I take the over, but that's all I take is the over.
Over.
But not because I think they're going to win 13. It's not like a blatant over. But Vegas is rarely
Win
wrong.
that first game. Beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Maybe
Good
we'll get
luck.
some confidence.
Ain't happening.
Saquon Barkley's going to
Come on,
run backwards.
Ash, come
for
on.
that
We got to
thing.
try. All your buddies are Cowboys.
I'm a Cowboys fan,
Me
but I'm
too.
also a realist.
All right.
We
We're
ain't
gonna
beat,
hope.
we ain't winning both games. We're not winning one
hope.
game against the Eagles. We're not winning one game against the Commanders this year.
There you go.
And
Jennifer
we might
Rayburn.
We play
split with the
KC too.
Giants.
Jennifer Rayburn says the Parade of Homes is a Mother's Day adjacent tradition. She
That
says
is
it's
it.
tons of
She's
fun.
right. She's right.
Yeah.
That's why I saw a bunch of mothers out last week. Jennifer's great. We love her.
She also pointed out that Melvin's, Dunlaps, and Lulu's all had house accounts.
Yes, they did.
Lulu's was high tone now.
Yeah. Oh boy, that was
Lulu's,
downtown.
Lulu's,
Not
yeah.
far from right where you're standing right
Just
now.
up the road, yeah.
And Dunlap's had it. My mother was Dunlap's and Lulu's.
Yeah.
You're probably your mother
What
too.
was the place called?
Dunlap's always had. I remember when I moved here, they always had like John Hart trunk shows.
Oh yeah. Ash.
What
Mad
was
Dad.
this? It may have been Dunlap's. What was the Dunlap's was in the strip center, the
Dunlap's
old town
over
and
there
country center.
where Mr. Gaddy's is now?
Okay, what's the place that was across the street?
Oh, the Welder Center. That's where Dunlap's was a long time ago.
No, I'm thinking about the old man. He used to hand out the card that
M.O.
say,
Simons.
"I'm retired." Simons. there it
M.O.
was.
Simons.
He
Right.
used to hand out a business card
All the
It
time.
had his name on it. It would say
Where-
retired,
Where he
no
wears
phone
glasses
number.
Like this. He had
Yeah.
glasses like that.
Yeah, his card in one corner it said retired, then it said no
Give me
phone
history,
number.
Ash.
Don't care. Don't call me.
We give
That
you-
was his.
We give you history, can we?
that was
and
his
let me give
deal.
these to Texans. They came out with 9.5.
I'd take the Texans over.
Over.
I take
I'm
the
going
over on the
over.
Texans.
Cody?
Yeah, we'll have to go. We'll have to look at the
Over-
Texans schedule next.
Yeah,
next
look at it,
week.
but that's the number.
Let's parlay
9.5.
that into a double over somewhere. I know a guy, folks. It's the top of the hour.
It
Yes,
We usually go back to our logo, but on a day like today, we're just going to let the brother man smile at you and wave goodbye.
and thank
And-
y'all, and thank
hey,
y'all, and God bless y'all.
We love you, folks. You'll never find a better friend
God
than
bless
Gary
you.
Moses. You
Bye,
guys
folks.
have a great weekend.
Thank you.